We kick off our second half hour of the show by welcoming BYU's defensive coordinator, safeties coach, and associate head coach, Jay Hill. Coach Hill, welcome back.
Well, it's good to be with you.
All right, that was your first road trip of the season. You're coming off a week off, 2 time zones away, East Coast, heat, humidity, long drive in from Raleigh-Durham, day of the game. Some challenges to overcome. Guys responded really well.
Oh, I thought they did. It was a tough travel. I mean, to go out there on a Thursday, wait around all day Friday, all day Saturday, take a 2-hour bus ride. I mean, there was a lot to overcome. I thought the players handled it very well.
ECU was going to be the best offense I think you'd seen this season. They were averaging over 350 just passing and doing everything at a really high tempo.
Well, high tempo was something that we were concerned about, that we knew we had to practice for. They had been running a lot of plays each game, going for a lot of yards, a lot of points. They definitely had our full attention going into this game.
So at 3-0 on the year, and ECU being 2-1, they had your full respect because they had a near miss at NC State. They could have won that game to open the season.
Well, they very well could have. They got off to a slow start in that game. They finished super strong, came back, almost won it at the end. You know, the quarterback had been playing at a super high level. He's got a lot of wide receiver targets to throw to. I mean, I don't know that people forget this, but we were 6.5-point favorites going in on Saturday, and to win by 21 on the road when you're 6.5-point favorites, I think job well done.
Okay, ECU got great field position to open the game after a nice kickoff return, but a terrific response from your guys. You forced a turnover on downs to get the game going.
Yeah, and I thought that was a huge response because they had the ball on the plus 45 going in. We played 4 downs and we were out, and then we got a 3 and out on the very next one. So to start that way got us off rolling the right way. It got us to where the tempo wasn't affecting us very much, and I thought it was a very good response by our defensive guys.
Yeah, so you hit it there. First ECU drive, turnover on down. Second drive, 3 and out. Third drive, 4 plays and a punt. Defense setting a solid early tone. Quick drives, no points.
Yeah, quick drives, no points. And then what it really did is it slowed down their tempo to the point where I almost thought about coming out of our deal and just calling the game the way we normally do, but I thought the players were playing so good at that time we just let it roll.
Trailing 3-0, ECU got on the board but had to settle for a field goal. It came after they got to a 1st and 10, though, at the BYU 21 late in the opening quarter. We were talking with Coach Popinga. Get around that 20, you were thinking 3 points or nothing. They got 3.
Yeah, they got 3, and what was kind of weird on that first scoring drive is they had a 33-yard run, and Jack Kelly just gets held so bad on the play. And I thought our players, you know, in those situations where something doesn't go in your favor, you can respond one way or the other, and I thought we responded the right way. We found a way out of this drive. We held them to 3 points, and that's a win in that situation.
So we're 3-3 going to second quarter. Cougs take a 6-3 lead early in the second. Then comes their 14-play, 69-yard drive that lasts more than 6 minutes. Longest drive of the year for them by time. They had 3 third-down conversions on it to get in position. They made it hard for you to get off the field.
Well, they did, and there were some weird things going on in that drive, and when we had some penalties that were uncharacteristic of us. We didn't get out of some third downs that we had the right calls, I thought. They hit some good throws, which there's one of them, obviously, and just they did some good things. You got to give them credit. That one could have been easily a pick going the other way, and they end up completing it, and then they get this conversion here. So you got to give them credit for driving the ball down the field, and then the big play.
Right, from the 6-yard line, 2nd and goal, ECU, and the first real game-changing play of the night. Take us through Evan Johnson's first of 2 interceptions.
Well, we called the cover 2 down here. We were expecting some kind of play action, which we ended up getting. Evan did a good job of, you know, acting like he was falling off of it and then came right back in front. He scared me right there, acting like
yes.
He was going to get tackled in the end zone after he'd come out, but he does get back out, returns it for 10 yards, and then the next play is the play of the game.
Right. So on the Johnson pick, you go from maybe tied, maybe down 10-6, you give the offense the ball. A great special teams play on the ensuing BYU punt to force a near turnover. It ends up with ECU backed up 1st and 10 from their own 1-yard line. Some teams might get a little conservative, maybe go under center. What were you expecting from ECU from their 1-yard line? Well,
we actually called it drop 8 for something just like this. We were expecting some kind of run pass option, RPO. And that's exactly what we got. He threw the hitch. We were in a coverage where we had talked to the DBs about trying to bait the hitch on this particular coverage, and it happened perfectly, just the way he kind of draw it up. And give Evan a ton of credit. It's a hard catch. He makes it and makes the play of the game, in my opinion.
So let's show again the next game changer from Evan Johnson. Pick 6 and a massive turnaround in this game. And this came on the 1st and 10 from the 1.
Yep.
Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah, just a huge play. I love the way he steps in front of it. He can be really aggressive in that coverage right there. We have a safety sitting over the top. He did a good job of sitting off and kind of baiting the throw. And like I say, it's a really tough catch, low and away, and he does a great job controlling it. And then I love his celebration in the camera.
Right to our person right there. Yeah. All right. I mentioned with Coach Papinga, maybe you agree or not, I'm not sure. The end of the second quarter on Saturday felt a lot like the end of the second quarter versus K-State last season at home.
So I said the exact same thing when we got the interception and then we got the score, and then they come out with 50 seconds left. I said, guys, they're going to throw this. This is going to end up being just like the K-State game. We're going to get an interception. We're going to score again before the end of the half. And so we said the exact same thing, and we missed our opportunity right at the end to get what would have been our interception again, and we were not correct on one of our coverages, and then Jack ended it with the big sack to go into half.
So thanks to the 2 Evan Johnson interceptions, the play you just mentioned, BYU does take a 13-3 lead to halftime. The Cougs have now won 11 consecutive games when just leading at the break. Sitake-era BYU is now 18-4. When they score a touchdown on defense or special teams, that's always going to help the equation.
Oh, yeah, that's a good stat. And then we need to keep pubbing that. We had talked to the defensive guys on Saturday morning about, the elite defenses. Let's go out there and outscore these guys. Not just hold them low, but let's do something on defense to try to outscore these guys. And going into halftime, we had done that.
BYU now 3-0 on the year, ranked in both major polls after Saturday's 34-13 win at ECU. This Saturday, BYU kicking off its 3rd Big 12 campaign, league opener at Colorado. All right, back into our ECU recap with Coach Hill. 13-3 lead at halftime. Great finish to the half, as we talked about. What was on the second half to-do list from Saturday?
Well, we needed to manage the tempo well again. We knew at some point if we could continue to stop the run, we'd turn it more into a throwing type game. I felt very strongly about what the offense was doing in the first half. I mean, they had wide opens a lot in the first half. I thought the play calling was outstanding by Coach Roderick, and you just knew that Bear was going to settle down and start hitting those throws, and they did, and they went right down the field, and they put it perfectly where we needed it to get, to the point where we were up 21 midway through the fourth quarter. I mean, the game should have been over, and that's when the defense has to finish better.
Second half did start with some great complimentary football, like the sequence. A punt and pin from special teams, a big sack from Jack to force an ECU punt, gives BYU a short field. Then it's a quick 2-play touchdown drive for the offense. Just like that, you're up 20-3 early in the third quarter. Yeah,
like I say, that's one thing that we emphasize a lot as a staff is playing complimentary football. Special teams is a huge part of what we do. You get sacks like this back in your own end zone, get a good punt return, and then the offense has done a great job over the last couple of years of taking advantage of these short fields.
And that was a 2-play drive, Chase, and then Carson and BYU's in the end zone. Now it's 20-3. Their next drive lasted 14 plays, covered 68 yards, but it ends only in a field goal. That's a long time for that up-tempo team to go and to only get 3. And that came after they got to a 1st and goal from the 10.
Well, I thought we responded well. They were 1 for 5 touchdowns in the red zone. So defensively speaking, we responded good in the red zone. We just gave them too many yards and too many opportunities where, we should have been closer in coverage than we were. That's the whole idea of this up-tempo offense is they get you to make mistakes you're not used to making.
So BYU did go up after the ECU field goal 27-6 early in the fourth quarter. 3-touchdown lead to work with, Coach. So ECU had to score and score quickly, but their lone touchdown drive took over 4 minutes, had to cover 97 yards. It's the only TD you've allowed this season, but I know you would have loved to have gotten off the field on the 3rd and 12 from the 1 when they were backed up.
Well, that's frustrating. Like, there's a lot that went on in this game that I feel really good about, and I could have felt great about this game. This drive drives me nuts. And because we were out of it multiple times, we had 2 blown coverages back to back, one of them on the 1-yard line where we know they're going to have to punt. And the way the offense was moving the ball, the game was over, and we let them out of a hole that we should have kept them pinned in.
All right, we're seeing some BYU offense there, but that was I think after the the 27-13 lead, got to 2 touchdowns. On this point, there were a few long third downs converted by ECU on the night, but they were only 40% on the night. You're still 6th nationally in third down conversion percentage defense.
Well, we've been really good. And again, this game, there was probably 3 of them that, in my opinion, they had no right getting based on the coverage we were in and where we should have been. Frustrating. And 2 in that touchdown drive, 2 blown coverages that are uncharacteristic to us. We've been so good and so clean ever since last year. It just, that hurts a little bit.
There was a 2-touchdown game. You needed one more score to kind of put it away, it felt like. It was already kind of over, maybe it felt like, but L.J. Martin does score to make it a 21-point lead, and that'd be your winning margin, 34-13. Once they did get within 2 touchdowns, did you feel like you wanted just one more score to finish it off right?
Well, again, that was an unbelievably good response by the offense. When they did score their 1 touchdown, the offense went right back down the field and scored again, put the game out of reach. At this point, there's really very, very unlikely that they can win the game, but we want a response. We put a bunch of backups in for the next drive, for the very last drive of the game. I do want to see a few of those backups play a little better than they did, but at that moment, I'm not willing to get one of our starters hurt for 7 points or 3 points. It's just not worth it. So we put a lot of our key guys on the bench on that last drive. Speaking of key guys, maybe a key guy you might see for the first time this week. Are we close to getting Justin Kirkland into some game action? Yeah, we expect him to be back this week. That will be a huge addition just to solidify our defensive line that's already played very well this year. So he'll be a big addition to what we're doing. Okay, let's hit some defensive superlatives now for BYU. Among them, BYU is the only team in the country to have allowed fewer than 2 touchdowns at this point in the season. Just that 1 touchdown from Saturday night, and a lot of very, very high national ranks through 3 games. Of course, we're going to see how things hold up as you get into a tougher series of tougher competition stretch with Big 12 play. But I know you like what you're seeing on the boards here, Coach, from your guys early. Well, I think that they've done what they're supposed to do. I mean, we don't get to choose who we get to play, and I think Stanford's shown that they're a better football team than maybe some people expected after our game. ECU is going to continue to put up huge numbers this year. Offensively, they're a good offense. They're going to put up big numbers. I feel a lot about ECU kind of how I felt SMU was last year. Maybe not to the same caliber, but they're going to make some noise, and that offense is talented, and they're going to put up a lot of points this year in their league and in a very good American league. So I think that's a really good road win. We've proven we can go on the road and win, and we've proven that obviously Lavelle Edwards Stadium is a huge home field advantage for us. So we just got to keep taking care of business week to week. I mentioned it with Coach Papinga, and this streak goes back a number of years now, but that's 8 consecutive years that BYU's gone on the road for the first time and won that first true away game, and those are always unique challenges. They are unique, and that goes a lot to how Kalani's kind of organized the culture of our football team, and we are a good road team. Last year we proved it. I really like playing on the road. I've told their players that. Sometimes it's just as fun for me to be on the road as it is at home, just for the fact that they got to respond to some adversity. They got to respond to a crowd that's trying to get after you, and I thought we handled it pretty good. You mentioned how the SMU win held up last year. Hopefully the ECU win does the same, because again, they could have gotten NC State in the opener, and I think it is a good football team. Well, and again, the difference in that game is they were at NC State, and now we're on the road to them, flying 2 time zones, 6-point favorites, and win by 21. There's so much to clean up, but there's a lot to feel good about. Okay, defensive player of the game for you from Saturday night. Oh, Evan Johnson for sure. His 2 plays were huge in us winning and keeping the momentum of that game. It's pretty, I mean, for a guy to go from taking 6 off the board to putting 6 on the board and doing it in such quick turnaround, that was pretty remarkable. Well, that's a 14-point turnaround, right? Just him alone. Yeah. And that's huge. That can't be understated how important those 2 plays were in this game. Aaron Roderick gave us his offensive players of the game. He went with quarterback Bear Bachmeier and wide receiver Chase Roberts. Well, Chase, we all know about. He's been super, super good throughout his whole career here. We're seeing Bear grow up before our eyes, and I thought he played outstanding, especially in that second half. He did so many great things. Made the right checks, hit the right guys. I don't want to speak for the offense, but just sitting up at the box with Coach Roderick, I know we were all impressed with how he responded. And you talk about not overstating.
He's gone 3 games, his first 3 games as a college starter, and is responsible for 0 giveaways.
Well, if we can continue that trend, I mean, we all know Coach Kalani's record. When we don't turn the ball over, we win a lot of football games. And when we're just +1, we got a chance to win probably 90% of our games. And right now, I think that we're better even than early in his career with some of the talent that we have. And so we go +1, we're going to have a good chance to win every game.
Well, Coach Hill and the Cougs, 3-0. After beating ECU. Next up, it's Big 12 play. So it's BYU at Colorado this Saturday night in Boulder. 13th all-time meeting in a series that ECU leads 7-4-1. First time BYU's been to Boulder in 44 years.
Wow. I'm excited to go back. It's been a while for me, too. Last game I went there ended very good for who I was with, and so I'm excited to go back.
Before we get to CU, some impressive streaks were extended at ECU. BYU's now 10-0 in non-conference games since joining the Big 12. And as I noted with you a little bit before, winning all those away openers year after year after year, that's taking care of business.
Well, very, very good. 10-0, obviously, is huge. Handling first road games is very good. The way we've handled coming out of football camp, you know, and staying healthy and you know, being 3-0 again is a big deal. So all good.
Okay, Colorado 2-2 after beating Wyoming 37-20 on Saturday. Quick early thoughts on CU generally before we get into some personnel with them.
Well, they're exactly what you think they'd be. They're very talented. Coach Dion does a great job of, you know, recruiting there. You see speed on offense. You see tough running backs on offense. I haven't watched their defense much, so it's unfair to comment on them, but we got our work cut out for us, and I promise you, after what happened in the bowl game, they're going to be ready for us. They are not going to overlook us.
Yeah, so how much, I mean, the personnel changes considerably at some pretty important spots, but is that even a factor, you think, in the lead up to this?
Well, it's definitely a factor. I mean, they lose 4 NFL-caliber wide receivers. They lost an NFL quarterback. They lost some key linemen. Like I say, they've done a good job replenishing those guys, but they lost some really talented guys, and so it's going to be they're trying to find out who's going to step up and play like those guys did last year, just as we are in certain groups.
What would you say your guys' motivational keys, or your player, what were your guys maybe most motivated by then against Colorado as opposed to now versus Colorado?
Well, I think our guys were excited to show, you know, playing the Heisman Trophy winner and Shadur Sanders, who was expected to be one of the top picks in the NFL draft. I think our guys were excited to show what they were all about against that matchup. And now we got an opportunity to keep an undefeated streak going for this season. We got an opportunity to get our first Big 12 win of the year and prove that we are really one of those elite defenses in the country against a good, solid offense.
In the last minute we have here, a quick word about their new starting quarterback. I say new, he was back at the starting quarterback. They benched him for 1 game, Caden Salter.
Well, he's strong-armed. I like how he throws the ball. He's accurate. We got to do a good job of changing his pitcher and trying to confuse his looks. They're going to run the ball a little bit more than they did last year in the bowl game. So we got to do a good job stopping the run and making the pitcher on 3rd and long and those things be hard for him.
You're used to playing late at night, we know that, and we know altitude somehow will not be an issue for our guys.
Altitude won't be an issue. We play basically the same as we are here in Provo, and we like night games, so it should be a good matchup.
Good luck this week in prep.
Can't wait.
Thanks, Coach. That'll do it for week 4 of the Coordinator's Corner.